Welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is September 3rd, 2020, and this is episode 79. We're looking at issue 2 of Dr. Tomorrow. This is a late arriving book. I think it was supposed to come out in March, and let me get it adjusted here. And we're just seeing it now in the stores. It is a Valiant, and we did review issue number 1 earlier. The writer of this is Alejandro Arbona, I guess, and the artist is Jim Toe. So let's get into it a little bit. First of all, I want to just say I did enjoy the first issue. It was a recommend. However, the second issue took a turn for the worst. I was kind of comparing it to, shall we say, which I'm thinking of, Greg Pak writing, his storytelling. But this issue just got really bogged down with a lot of things, and we'll go into that in just a bit here. So this cover here, we don't really see the Golden Gate Bridge in the background like this ever in the story, but it is partially taking place in Berkeley, California. So that's across the bay from this bridge. There's a couple other bridges before you get to this one, actually. So it's just a lot of red. I don't know if it really works in this picture, but this is actually Dr. Tomorrow as a younger man. Here, we'll show you the original one cover. You can see him as Dr. Tomorrow. This is him as Bart Sims, a high school or college student. I'm not quite sure. I think he's a high school student. And if you remember the last issue, Dr. Tomorrow bestowed this equipment on him so he could help him fight Hadrian, who's kind of gone off his rocker a little bit. He's trying to get this certain energy source. So we'll take a quick look at this. What I did like about it is they do give you a little intro, but it doesn't really talk about the story so much. That from the last issue. So if you're picking this up, I don't think this would really help you see what was going on, unfortunately. So it gives you a little brief introduction into the two characters, Bart Sims, who's kind of like student Tomorrow, I don't know, and then Dr. Tomorrow, who's his older self that has crossed into another dimension, or a parallel universe, I should say. And for the first 3 pages here, it talks about flying above Berkeley Hills, California. He's learning how to fly. It's kind of a waste because basically it really doesn't add too much to the story. I mean, you could have just showed this all in 1 page, I thought. So we lose 3 pages when it could have been 1. Nothing too much going on here. They land in what is, I guess it's supposed to be the Oakland Coliseum where the Oakland A's play. And somehow this is all connected. They don't explain it. He just knows to go here. Dr. Tomorrow just knows to go here. And there's these 2 people that he actually thinks they're robots, but maybe they were robots in another dimension or parallel universe that he has gone through before. They really don't explain it too well, and then they over-explain her later in the book where it's just overwhelming. Like I'd kind of mentioned before, there's a certain kind of stories I don't like. One is with hostages, anything with the hostages where they're just doing negotiation and all of that. I don't care for that. Or if they're entrapped in a cave and they're waiting to be rescued. I don't like things like that. And the thing is, too much time travel. And this is what's going on here. They're doing time travel. They're doing dimension jumping. They're going to new universes while old ones are being destroyed. So it's kind of this on and on story. And it's not really gripping me. You don't really get to know the characters too well. Maybe they were spelled out earlier in other issues, but this is really kind of went off the tracks for me on this one. So they go to this game, these 2, the umpire and the manager, they think they're robots, but they're not. They're actually time walkers. And so they very easily convince them to go back to the lab with them after they have a little brief fight here and there. And then when they get back to the lab, it's at Stanford, California. It turns out that the old manager was actually a woman. It's Nettie. Boy, I can't think of her name now. I'm drawing a blank. She's a scientist. She loves the science. She actually had a shirt on. The last issue said she loves the science. And I think that was kind of just to be funny. Maybe like a dig at somebody. I don't know which group, but it was a dig at somebody. Because it was so overt. But anyway, this is the umpire. It's actually Ankh from the first issue as well. So these two characters were in the first issue. They appear again, and then they just start talking about all this physics and multiverse, and it just gets real. I feel like this kid, he doesn't understand what they're talking about, and a lot of it just seems like it's gobbledygook. It's over explained, and I don't even know if it's really true what they're talking about. For instance, in Star Wars, that reboot, or Star Trek, the reboot, they had the red matter, and all we knew about it was it was just dangerous. It was like nitroglycerin. It's highly unstable, and that's all we needed to know. But they go into all this explanation here, and it's kind of boring, and it's kind of jumps around, and the younger guy doesn't know what it is, but his older self does. And then he goes, here's a quick backstory to where Hadrian and Dr. Tomorrow are together here, and they're trying to develop this dark fluid negative mass. And that's, if you remember from the first issue, this was the thing that Hadrian was trying to put in his suit and was able to create a vacuum to slip away in while destroying the current universe. So Hadrian actually gets obsessed with this dark fluid, and he wants to get as much as he can to be as powerful as he can. And here's a little clip from it. No path had ever been forged to travel between worlds, and we plummeted through countless parallel realities after discovering this dark fluid, of course. So it's explained, and then they realize this current world is in danger. So they move on out. They pick up a signal across the country in Long Island, New York, and they realize that Hadrian's there, as this energy source is building. And Hadrian's actually, looks like he's killed many of the scientists here. He's got one still alive that's helping him on the keyboard, trying to keep working while he gets ready to take in some more dark fluid. He says this will change the universe. And meanwhile, Kid Tomorrow, let's call him Kid Tomorrow, his name's Bart Sims, but he gets a note that his father's not going to be at his game, so he gets upset, smashes the mirror. He's got a little bit of a temper on him. It'd be nice if they developed his character a little bit more instead of just showing he's a temper and he doesn't know anything, and that's about it. So then he gets a call from this friend, Gretchen, who's pretty good at science and pretty good sport. She's kind of a tomboy, she likes the boy stuff, which is cool. And he just says, I'm not going to go to the game. I'm going to go help Dr. Tomorrow. And then here's this nice ad here for an I don't know who this is supposed to appeal to, but it's a new superhero. Well, maybe not new, but Faith taking flight. I don't know what her superpowers are. I'm assuming she can fly, and she can probably crush people, probably just by running into them. But yeah, I'm sure this is not a big seller by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, we move on in this. He kind of makes Gretchen feel bad. She slams the door, leaves, and then Dr. Tomorrow shows up and convinces Kid Tomorrow to go with him. as they fly off to Long Island, New York to take on Hadrian. And as they get there, the other heroes are starting to show up. They're all going to face off against Hadrian. So there wasn't a lot of action in this one either. Just a lot of talking. The door slammed, I guess, and there was a little bit of fight in this Colosseum. And we see them all gathered here, ready to go at it. And it's a race against time. And the next issue is called The Last Stand. I don't know if this is the last issue, number 3 in the series. I might get it, I might not. If it's not, I'm definitely not going to get it, because this second issue is just kind of not that great. It was kind of a letdown in comparison to the first issue, so I'm not recommending it. I might take a look at the third issue if I see it, but right now I'm not that interested on how this turns out at all. Really lost focus, I think, so I can't recommend it. I don't know if there's anything else, and there's a small EXO #1 story in here, which I did not read. Typical EXO. And their new creation, Shadow Man #1, coming out. So nothing too much happened in this one. This one I'm kind of interested in, The Final Witness, so I'll keep my eye out on this. But overall, can't recommend. I think I'm done with this series. I'm not going to buy the third. I'll take a look at it, see if it's worth it, if it looks interesting. But as far as I can tell right now, I'm thinking not. I've got a lot of other books to read that are much better, and I've got a lot of work to do as far as these reviews. In fact, I've got DC, Marvel, and all the independent previews to go through as well. I'm hoping to knock some of those out, maybe tonight. So thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe, please like, please leave comments. I really appreciate you checking out my channel. And this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Have a great one.